Obviously, focus of the game. I just figured I'd have some back a new podcast. I've talked to many people. I do it, see if it works out, whatever. And this will definitely get. Basically, it's gonna be called All Things Rock, Punk, and Metal. You know, like album reviews or things like that. Although, around like the interesting side of a band's timeline, or things that happen. With band members or two different bands, or just really cool interesting things, maybe gear rundown. And I listen to a little bit of everything, and I have the highest respect for genre. So like guilty pleasures, I have Eminem, I have The Weeknd, I have Frank Sinatra, sorry. Because I appreciate music as a whole. I can step into the shoes of other people. To me, it's all about individuality and creativity, and that's what I think music means to me. The freedom of expression, and that's why I have a hard time hating on things. I may not like it, but I definitely don't hate it. So as a test, this is testing things out, so it's gonna be very rough, and I know this. And I definitely have that passion to want to do what a lot of these bands have done, to make music and to have fun with it. Also to learn a lot of their techniques, and because I picked up a guitar a couple years ago. I'm still struggling and learning and things like that, but that's the beauty of it. It doesn't happen overnight. Obviously, with each of the podcasts that goes on, it's going to be very. I'm gonna try to polish it, perfect it, as time goes on. And I just rubber band there. I didn't know if you guys saw that. That was terrible. Oh, I'm doing it again. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. But, so, I guess, well, if I wanted to really, test something out right now, I could just go through 10 bands I really enjoy. I'm not going to go too deep. I'll just list a couple albums, maybe a couple songs off them. I'm not going to go too, like I said, not going to go too deep into it. Just a test. But maybe in the future I will do a podcast that specifically talks about that band. Or, So let's go ahead. What's a good band? Exodus. Okay, Exodus, obviously a wonderful thrash metal band. Oh my God, why am I lagging? Jesus. Exodus. Love Bailoff. I love Gibson. Gary's always wonderful to have. Even with different lineup changes, I loved him over the years. So, albums that really stand out to me. Bonded by Blood, I think that's gonna be the easiest one. Impact is Imminent, Fabulous Disaster, Temple of the Damned, Exhibition, songs, definitely Strike of the Beast, Good Day to Die, Jesus, good song, Throwing Down, Impaler, why am I rubber banding? What the fuck? Hold on. I gotta clutch this apparently.
We have been eliminated.
Anyway, so so that's sorry, I didn't mean to get quiet. Exodus. I love Exodus. Another band I love is Entombed. Jesus. Obviously, I would say the first three albums for sure. Personally, my favorite though is Wolverine Blues. I know a lot of people love Left Hand Path. You know, Morbid Devourment's a good song on there. I actually have the physical copy of uh, Left Hand Path, so you know, Morbid Devourment obviously is a good song. Supposed to Rot, you know, Premature Autopsy. The self-titled track, When Life Has Ceased. I'm trying to think of off the top of my head. Carnal Leftovers, Truth Beyond, Bitter Loss. Good album. Jesus. Overkill. What can I say about Overkill? WFO, Years of Decay. Who doesn't love Bobby Blitz, you know?
Op 4 drone is
Elimination! No. That whole shit was good. Definitely. I know, like I said, this is really, really rough, and I understand that. This is really, really rough to listen to. But this is just kind of like an example. A terrible example. Because it's not going to be like this, I promise. I'm definitely going to be more in depth with it. I know it seems like I'm rushing.
10 seconds left.
It's another good band. Oh,
5 seconds.
man. Deicide. Oof. I think everybody's
The biohazard container at all costs.
favorite death metal bands. Jesus, what's... I wonder what Deicide album I'm thinking of. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hold on, I'm having a little trouble with something. Not the self-titled. I know a lot of people love. I also know a lot of people love In the Minds of Evil, but I'm not going to include the self-titled album. I feel like that's cheating. Once Upon the Cross, and obviously Overtures of Blasphemy. Seal the Tomb Below, such a good song. I love Deicide. I'll talk about them in a future episode, for sure. Let's see, Ghost. I know a lot of people don't like Ghost. Whether or not they're metal or not, and I really do. And obviously, the album that they dropped, or the album that they are planning on drop, obviously, you know, that Kiss the Go-Goat, Mary on a Cross are on. It's very different from what they released. I think Prequel is definitely the album. I can't pronounce some of these names, and Infest. I have a hard time, and I also stutter a lot, so I'm not worried about it. Again, I'll get it right for a future episode. But a lot of songs that I definitely think of are If You Have Ghosts, and Fuse is just kerplunking away. Wow, his ping is just as bad as mine. Wow, what the fuck was that? Yeah, you know, If You Have Ghosts, Rats, Series, Body and Blood, you know, Monster Train Clock, Miasma, you know, there's a whole bunch of ballads and things you could definitely put on there. Death. Oof, Death. Death is a good band. Definitely one of my favorite bands. I promised I will do an episode on this soon. Chuck is a god. Alright, listen, you cannot dispute this. It's already proven that Chuck himself is a god. And he still has a great deal of influence even after his death. So obviously Scream Bloody Gore. I think people, even Spiritual Healing is a good album, you know, Symbolic is a good album. Sound of Perseverance, an amazing album. Human, Jesus, love Death. Here's a little bit different, some classic rock. I love Blue Oyster Cult. And this is, in this upcoming podcast, I will definitely talk about 8 topics, and that might change to... Okay, for time purposes, if it's too long, I'll cut down... I'll split it up into 2 different episodes. But I do have 8 stories I want to talk about for the upcoming podcast within a few weeks. But Blue Oyster Cult is on that podcast, and I'm going to be doing that's the album review, Revolution by Night. Now I know a lot of people when they think of Blue Oyster Cult, they think of songs like "Burning for You," "Don't Fear the Reaper," and "Godzilla," and yeah, they think of albums like Spectres or Agents of Fortune or Fire of Unknown Origin. I personally like the other albums more. There are just a lot of good songs. Sinful Love, Take Me Away, OD'd on Life Itself, ME262. I like Club Ninja. I like Revolution by the Night. I love Mirrors. I just love those albums more. And it's like I said, it's music is subjective. Everybody has like a different feeling towards things, and that's perfectly okay. Obituary. Definitely Slowly We Rot. Yeah, Frozen in Time, Cause of Death. Tool. I know the album was a very big hit. I'm not a big fan of it. I still like 10,000 Days and pretty much literally the other albums, the other three albums. 10,000 Days is still my favorite, and Lateral is too. But Fear Inoculum's not a bad album, by no means. Zeppelin. Oof. Love Zeppelin. I'm gonna throw in Pink Floyd after this too. Led Zeppelin. Physical Graffiti. Led Zeppelin 2, Led Zeppelin 3, Coda. Solid albums. I really don't have an album I don't like on this album. Or, sorry, within this band. Although Coda I would probably say is my least favorite. But, you know, Hey, What Can I Do is a really good song. Definitely check that out. Pink Floyd. Jesus, the two albums that come to mind. The two most popular albums, obviously The Wall and Dark Side, but I like Wish You Were Here. I know Wish You Were Here is still popular. I think The Division Bell is probably my favorite album, followed by Wish You Were Here and Animals. So there's that. Typo Negative. Bless Peter Steele. Hey, what can I say? Peter Steele has an amazing vocals. Obviously, World Coming Down, October Rust. Literally, obviously, anything that this band has released is I have loved. So, again, just it's unfortunate that he was another legend that was taken too far from us. Too soon from us, sorry. Too soon. Celtic Frost. Now, this is where it gets interesting. I love Pandemonium. I love Morbid Tales. Into the Pandemonium, such a good album. Morbid Tales, fantastic album. But there are two albums I actually don't like from this band. Cold Lake and Monotheist are just albums I couldn't really get into, and I don't know why. I don't know if it was just the new style or just the overall appeal to it. It just wasn't me. I didn't hate it. I mean, I do have some stuff added onto my playlist. But overall, I just thought that the albums were just very, very lackluster. It just seemed to be very dimming, in a way. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, you have the other albums, and they just shine. They're fantastic. And then these ones just came out, like, undercooked. You know, you took the chicken out too early from the oven, and it's still raw in the middle. Like it wasn't finished. There you go. That's a good way to describe it. It just felt like the album just was, I wouldn't say rushed. It felt a little empty, and like there were supposed to be some other things in that album that did not get put onto those albums. I don't know how to explain it. My favorite album, by Behemoth, as well as my all-time favorite album. Obviously, I love Nurgle, and I love Behemoth. The Satanist. I loved you at your darkest. Butchered it real bad. Yeah. Make fun of me. I don't care. And then lastly, what's a good band? Van Halen. Yeah, let's do Van Halen. I love Van Halen. Obviously, my favorite album. is 1984, but there's a lot of stuff. Hold on, I'm having a little issues with something. Obviously, like 5150, Van Halen 1, Van Halen 2. There was the 1991 album. What was it called? For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. Was it Carnal Knowledge? Something Knowledge. That album was really solid. Hell, even Diver Down, Fair Warning. You know, Women and Children First. Jesus, man. And you literally look into the entire discography of Van Halen. And it's just incredible. God. The Van Halen is a really big influence on a lot of current day guitarists. And the only album, I know a lot of people are going to hate me on this, but I just couldn't get into was Van Halen 3. But other than that, you know, just a solid overall album, or sorry, band. Again, this is really botched. This is kind of like on the spot, like trying to think of something. And I'm bad at that. Like I have to plan things out, whatever. You know what? We'll do more band. We'll do Merciful Fate. That's an interesting band. Obviously, King Diamond. And his origin with that band and things like that. Desecration Souls, Melissa, just about literally everything else. I've never met a person that says they hated King Diamond. So definitely would recommend Merciful Fate and King Diamond. I know obviously the two things. His part in both bands were very, very important. And I wish I could talk about this more, but I'm gotta go take care of something. So I'm kind of just trying to rush this. King Diamond was definitely. God, I'm trying to think of like. You could like, I don't know what this set of vocal range is called, but you know, with you like literally everything he's released, the storytelling and his stuff with King Diamond, but even with like Merciful Fate, like Don't Break the Oath, Melissa, Time, was the '93 album. Was it In the Shadows? Return of the Vampire, you know, Beginning, whatever. Into the Unknown, Dead Again, 9, like the whole band as a whole just had, I would say like a solid, I guess lifetime. But King Diamond himself, like obviously he wasn't on the later albums because he left, but you know, the Abigail album, the Masquerade of Masquerade of Madness, Graveyard, Give Me Your Soul. I mean, Jesus, he's literally had so much fun with this new alias and new band. Spider's Lullaby, Graveyard, Voodoo, Jesus, Fatal Portrait, Them, Conspiracy. You can just tell, like, the amount of work he put in. And I'm not saying he didn't put in work with Merciful Fate, but he definitely has a much more sense of like new life being wow, Jesus, a new breath being, you know, into him during his like King Diamond. Like that is his creativity at the fullest. And God, I literally any single album, but I'm going to only recommend Abigail, Them, Spider's Lullaby, and Give Me Your Soul, please. Though I think those are his strongest. I'm not saying that any other album is weak, but
Biohazard
those are the
container
albums I
has
would
been
start off
located.
with. Anyway, guys, things and give me suggestions and things like that. I absolutely love to hear it. Feedback, whatever. Criticism, constructive criticism. Purposes. I have 8 stories for the podcast, and there's going to be like an hour or two, maybe. I might talk about it a lot. I might cut it down. I haven't decided yet. But specific things that happened in, in the community. So it may get cut down into 2 parts. But I won't. I will not like. I still have plans to, still do like a story, to talk about the 8 things I wrote down. So,
Securing
don't
the
worry,
container
and
once the
nothing's
threat
getting
is
changed.
neutralized.
And yeah, one of those is, like I said, the review for
One Op 4 remaining.
Blue Oyster Cult's Revolution by Night.
Op 4